Hello guys, this is Mike from Deathless Gaming, and tonight we're going to be taking bases in Planetside 2 to Alloys to Eastern Canyon.
Someday I'll let you apologize, and I'll accept your apology, and tell you just exactly what I see. I live my life like a guillotine. Hey, I made out.
Alright guys, so we're going to today go from Alloys, the Crown, Palisade, Eastern Canyon, and we'll do a quick look at serious hyperponics. But so let's start with TI Alloys. I mean, it's a great place to start. As you can see, I'm in my Sky Dolphin, and I'm right now hovering. Oh, fucking shit. You gotta be shitting. Okay, so we're gonna be looking at TI Alloys from the ground today. So, as you can see, here's the main entrance of TI Alloys. So this is kind of actually not too much bad of a main entrance. You don't get too much fire from the main spawn room. But if you look to the left of me, there's actually a really good crack. Switch to this shot right here. And this is actually a great place for the sundie, because it gives you good access to the SCU when that shield goes down. And it also gives you great access to preventing people from going to that vehicle pad. And on the right side, same thing goes. Nice crevice. Allows, it's hard to find that sundie and fully kill it, so it's much more easier access to the A point. Now, actually, if we go behind the spawn room, down this level to this shot right here, you can actually see that this place right here by this tiny little building, it's far enough from the spawn room, so if you got a cloak sundie, they won't actually notice it's there. So if you have serious hyperponics or something, it's a great place to actually have a sundie here. Gives extra access to that A point. And then obviously, of course, there's that land bridge from the crown. And even if you don't own the crown, that land bridge right over here, it offers some crevices that really it's hard to get at it except by C4 or maybe a turret from the crown. It's really hard just the way the rocks are angled. You think it's smooth, but actually it's very jagged and hard to get across. So that's actually a really good place to get to the A point. So just a quick note with this base, you want to stay on the A point, really, in the point room. There's an SUU, so I guess that's helpful if you've been in there long enough. But really, you should try to stay on the A point. It's probably a good idea for this base just to get as much pop onto the A point and have like people spawning in from every direction, because it's really easy access for a max crash onto that A point, so it's harder to take this base. Alright, let's move on to the crown. So quick aerial shot right here. So you have your obvious entrances. So let's start with this backside entrance, maybe not a lot of you know about, but the crown is one of the hardest bases to take, so even this backside entrance is a horrible entrance because it really allows you to get farmed. You can hide a sundie easily, but it's just almost impossible to get up there without being shot down. There's obviously the land bridge, which is a really good entrance if you park your sundie after driving across the land bridge to the C point. So that's a really good sundie place on the crown, because it lets you start to assault the tower, which is really hard to do since it's pretty good coverage. Also, the C point launch pad is a really good place, since if you kind of use rails, not glitch, but maneuverability on the jump pad, you can actually bounce onto the air pad on the crown, and it also allows you to bounce a whole lot of other places, so it really allows you to get that forces on top. And the main entrance really just is not a good place due to the fact it's a pretty good choke point. You can get stuff to there, but it's just a bad choke point. And then there's also B, but really there's not really much potential there, since even if you put a sundie there and have a lot of pop there, you're going to be climbing up the main entrance hill, and that's horrible because people are going to be shooting you. So in my opinion, this is probably one of the most hard, if not the hardest base to take, even with 96 pop, So it's you have to get creative on how you're gonna take it. I believe they do have an SCU now, so if you are able to exploit so you can get the SCU down, then you'll probably be able to cap it quicker. But it's just really hard. Got to use a lot of creativity. Planetside. So let's start here. Main entrance right here. To the left of me is a really good sundie place. It's a little crack. But let's take a look to the far right of me and switch to this shot right here. So if you're looking at the map, this is really not that far from the A point. It's a big ass rock, so they don't really see you're there, and it's especially helpful with the cloak sundie. This offers possibly the best coverage to get onto that A point. Just make sure you don't get flooded and there people are guarding your sundie, because the pop can flood onto it if they've taken the A point, and then you die. But the best way really is to get a sundie there and getting that easy access to the A point, and that kind of like just pretty much wins you the base. Also, to the far left of the main entrance again, the big ass hill, which most people use to farm Eastern Canyon checkpoint, is actually really good for flanking the Palisade. Because if you see right here, I'm actually not visible to the spawn room, so if I could get a sundie up here, which I've seen a bunch of times people do, get 2 or 3 sundies up here, it's going to be really hard for them to combat that kind of pop. And so what you have is, if you have a sundie where I said to the right of that hill, and then on this left hill, you can combat it really well. So you pretty much cut them off from the spawn room, and you're good. So that's pretty much how you take the Palisade. Alright, so let's move on. The one thing before we leave the Palisade, this hill right here, where you can pull prowlers, from Crimson Bluff, this is a really good artillery point on the Palisade. Of course, that's infantry farming, and usually doesn't help the general balance of the game. But really, it's pretty good. So if you need to start harassing the people on that bridge or turrets or armor coming up from Eastern Canyon to reinforce, it's a great cutoff point. Alright, let's move on to Eastern Canyon. So obviously there's that main big-ass hill I was showing you from the Palisade, so you want to use that a lot effectively and get some fire down there onto Eastern Canyon. But first, let's look to actually right next to the spawn room. This big-ass rock right here is actually a really great place for sundie, mainly because not only is it easy access from the road, but it also lets you flow into that building right here next to the spawn room. And that allows you to cut off a path and then force them to use the bridge. And of course, that bridge is very easy to cut off, which, let's switch shots here. If we look to this left area right here, or I guess upper area, this is great access for the A point. So what you want to do when you have a sundie here is actually have a couple light assaults and infiltrators. I know that's a huge dirty word for a platoon, but have like a squad of those guys, light assaults and infiltrators. Actually have them go up that hill, get on the pinnacle, and just snipe everybody coming off from the bridge. Now, obviously, since they're light assaults and infiltrators, and that can be able to fully keep them off, but they can cut off almost everybody on that bridge. Then you have maybe a max or two, and then the rest of the squads pile onto the A point and the other building I showed you, and that now will pretty much cut off the bridge and also cut off that other access point from taking the road. And you can also have lightning, so if anybody tries to come across the road, the lightnings will shoot them down with Vipers. So those are really good areas to totally flank and decimate Eastern Canyon. And actually, if you know what you're doing, this is actually a really easy base to cap. Probably one of the easier ones. Alright, so let's wrap up with Cirrus. So, right here, right above Cirrus, you wouldn't think so, but right around here is actually a good place for this sundie. It's a really good access, and it's just allows pop to flow through. Now, I wouldn't recommend this for your main sundie spawn point, but it's just a good hiding place. Also, right by the ammo tower right here, a little bit downward, is also a great place for a sundie. And now I'm going to show you where people put the main sundies. They put it right about here. As you can see, I'm actually about to see for an enemy sundie that's right there. That allows great access to the A point, but it's just not enough access. So you generally want to get a second sundie up by that ammo tower, or maybe by the hill, so that you can have a little bit more options if anybody tries to flank this main sundie like I am now. Because if you could tell, if there was a sundie behind me, they would be shooting at me, but there isn't, so this guy's gonna die. Oh, look, he did. So, yeah. Don't try to go around the spawn room because it's really flat around here, so you'll pretty much just get shot up. I think there isn't an SCU, so there's really no reason to try to cut off the spawn room. It's just easy access to get on that A point, cut them off at the stairs. Really easy choke point. You have to watch out for Lysol's though. So let's review. I'm going to use the map here. So let's look at T alloys. There are your major points that you want to attack. The crown, your major points you want to attack. The Palisade, Eastern Canyon, and finally Cirrus Hydroponics. So with these points, when the construction system comes about, maybe you can, build some stuff on it. But mainly, these are the points. If you're a defender, you want to defend them, make sure they don't get in control. And if you're an attacker, you want to push hard for these points, because these are basically the weak spots of the bases. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, ask anything in the comments. I'll be making another episode in the series, probably in a week or two. This is Mike from Deathless Gaming. See you guys later.